Did you know there's a list of the best countries in the world? Someone actually went through and ranked the countries and determined the number one overall best country. I'm going to tell you what it is and what my problem is with this list. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson. Do you think it's possible to determine the best country? Now, here at Nomad Capitalist, we publish the Nomad Passport Index. We're working on other indexes where we rank, the quality of a passport. How many countries can they go to visa-free? What's their tax policy? What is it like to be a citizen of that country? And so here are the world's best passports. We try and stick to a lot of very objective metrics. And there are all kinds of reports like that all around the world. But U.S. News and World Report, a U.S. magazine, has actually put together a list of the top 10 best countries. Apparently, they do this every year. And your first thought may have been, I thought that magazine went out of business a long time ago. But you'd be wrong. And they have a list of the top 10 countries for 2019. Here are some of the criteria. I find this very interesting. Criteria to determine the best countries in the world: adventure, citizenship, which I think they're more talking about citizenship in terms of civics, not in terms of passport. Cultural influence of the country. Entrepreneurship, that one's important. Heritage, not sure why that matters. Movers, not entirely sure about that. Open for business. Power, could be a double-edged sword, the power of the country to make it best. And quality of life. Now, a couple things. Do I necessarily care about the power of the country that I live in, or that I'm a citizen of, or that I want to go to? Maybe, maybe not. As we'll see, some of the countries on this list probably have a bit too much power over their citizens that affects their quality of life and their freedom. But quality of life is the last piece. So these are important things. I'm going to tell you the top 10 countries that are on the list. Here's my challenge just with the idea of what's the best country. There is no best country. We made a video on what the perfect country would be, and I gave my criteria. The first problem is we're never all going to agree on what is the best country. And so it's a little silly to have some people sitting in the United States who no doubt mostly don't know what it's like to run a business, don't know what it's like to be very successful, don't know what it's like to live all over the world, to determine what's best. What you get is a very biased list that is based on the kind of people who put it together, who are sitting around in New York or wherever they may be. The other challenge is you're not going to get all of these one things from one country. So if I want the best place to do business, I will go and put my business there. If I want great quality of life, I'll live in somewhere with great quality of life. I may not be a citizen of that country, and I may not want the country that I'm living in to have that much power over me. I want to have some freedom. And so what we talk about here at Nomad Capitalist is the idea that these places should probably be different. There's no one country that's going to serve all your needs. And we've all been living for our entire lives, most of us, with this paradigm that only one country can do all of this. You've got one and done. And that's why people don't have the level of prosperity that they want and the level of freedom that they want, because they're relying on that one-itis, country edition. So let me talk about the countries and kind of bring this into focus. These are the best countries according to U.S. News and World Report for 2019. Starting from number 10, France, then Norway, then the United States, Australia, Sweden, the UK, Germany, Canada, Japan, and the number one country, the best country in the world. They can say it. They have no bones about saying it. Number one country in the world is Switzerland. Now, a couple observations. I said that with the criteria that you have and with the people who are putting this together, and I don't judge them for this, but their perspective seems to be very Western-centric. None of these countries particularly have very low tax. None of these countries, to me, with a few exceptions, the US, Japan, maybe the UK, have great consumer conveniences, which for me would determine quality of life. If I want to go out and get a hamburger at 2 in the morning, can I do that? None of these countries are particularly affordable to live in, which to me, considering that we have a growing equalization of wealth in the world, that some of the lower middle class countries are coming up and some of the wealthiest countries in many cases are coming down. would seem that the cost of living would be important. Switzerland, I suppose, is nice if you are really wealthy, if not perhaps a bit boring for many people. But that is the list of countries. And I'd love for you to leave a comment below. What do you think about this? Again, if your mindset is, I just want to live in a place and be quote unquote safe, perhaps some of these countries work for you. I don't know that the US is that particularly safe. But I look at other things. I look at how free am I in this country. A lot of these countries, you're going to be followed around by a camera everywhere you go. They're going to take half your money if you're a successful business owner or a successful employee doing a job. They're imposing more and more restrictions on you. And so what's best for people who have upper middle class jobs and who want to occasionally travel is going to be different for the best countries for someone who is a high-level entrepreneur making a lot of money. It's going to be different for someone who wants a sense of adventure. I think this list totally ignores not only Singapore, by the way. I don't know why Singapore, that would seem to fit into their kind of criteria for a safe, well-developed, plays nice with everybody kind of place. Where's Malaysia? Where's Colombia? Where's Mexico? I understand a lot of people may not think that those are the best, but for living, they offer a lot of opportunities. I will take living in Mexico over living in Switzerland, and I like Switzerland, but I don't want to live there, and so for me it's not best. And so the takeaway for me is what we always talk about here. If you are a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur and you're globally minded and you're able to see beyond the box and the one-itis that we are often brought up with, then what's best for most people, what's best for everyone else is likely not what's going to be best for you. That's what I talk about in the book, Nomad Capitalist. It's a way of being a difference thinker and thinking that the world that exists today is not the world that existed 20 years ago. In your lifetime, so many new countries have come up and become more developed and more accessible and more livable and more open for business and lower tax and more friendly and more open. Just in my lifetime, countries you wouldn't even considered 34 years ago are now great contenders that I think really should be on this list if we're making an objective, globally minded list. But do understand, being a difference thinker means you can't rely on lists like this. It works for some people, but chances are it may not work for you. You want to think more globally. Hi, I'm Andrew Henderson from Nomad Capitalist. I wrote this book, which you can find on Amazon, to distill a lot of the stuff we talk about in these videos and a lot of the stuff I've learned over the last decade plus traveling all around the world, teaching you about how to legally reduce your taxes, build your personal freedom, and create wealth faster. Definitely get a copy of this book if you want to learn more. Now, if you want to watch more videos, make sure you subscribe to our channel and make sure you click the notifications bell so you never miss one of our new videos with more tips on how to go where you're treated best. And if you're already a 6 or 7 figure entrepreneur and you'd like to put these strategies in place for yourself, go to nomadcapitalist.com and learn about how I can help you.